You are born on February 18, 1898 in Modena, Italy. It is snowing so heavily that your father cannot register your birth for 2 days. The certificate says the 20th. You spend your entire life knowing the date is the 18th. This small discrepancy between the official record and the truth, between what is written down and what actually happened, will become, in its way, a theme. Your father, Alfredo, runs a metal workshop next to the railway. He forges axles. He works with his hands. Your older brother, also named Alfredo but called Dino, is the favored son, smarter at school, better with books. You are the one who disappears into the workshop and learns things by touching them, by breaking them, by understanding how things work from the inside. You want to be three things: an opera tenor, a sports journalist, and a racing driver. These are not the ambitions of a practical man. You are not and will never be a practical man. In 1908, your father takes you and your brother to the Circuito di Bologna to watch a motor race. You are 10 years old. You watch a man named Felice Nazzaro drive a car at a speed that seems to belong to a different category of existence entirely. Something locks into place in you that day, something that will not unlock for the remaining 80 years of your life. Segment 2. The war takes everything in 1916. Your father dies. Influenza. Within months, your brother dies too. The same illness, the same year, both of them gone before you are 18. The family workshop collapses. You become the man of the house before you have finished becoming a man. You are drafted into the Italian army and assigned to shoe mules for the 3rd Alpine Artillery Division. This is what the war asks of you: not heroism, not sacrifice, but the maintenance of the animals that carry the artillery. You do it. Then the same influenza that took your father and brother finds you. You are critically ill. You undergo surgery. You are discharged, recovered, but altered. And you walk out of the military hospital into a country that has been destroyed and is trying to reassemble itself. You go to Turin. You want to work for Fiat, the center of everything that matters in the Italian automotive world. Fiat rejects you. You are no one. You have no degree, no connections, no money. You are a young man from Modena with a dead father and a dead brother, and a workshop that no longer exists, and a passion for racing that has until now produced nothing. You take a job as a test driver for a small company called CMN. You are paid almost nothing. You drive cars very fast on roads that were not designed for it. You are, for the first time, doing something that feels like the thing. Segment 3. Alfa Romeo. In 1920, you begin driving for Alfa Romeo. You are 22 years old and you are fast. Not the fastest, there are drivers with more natural talent, more instinct, more of the particular fearlessness that separates the very great from the merely good. But you are good enough to race, and more importantly, you have a quality that is rarer than speed. You understand the car. You feel it. You know what it is telling you when it handles differently, when the engine sounds wrong, when the road surface demands something different from the suspension. You are not just a driver. You are someone who thinks about what the driver and the car are doing together. In 1929, you found Scuderia Ferrari in Modena, not a car company, a racing stable. You organize drivers and mechanics and cars, primarily Alfa Romeos, into a competitive racing operation. You recruit the best drivers you can find. You lure mechanics away from Fiat and Maserati. You build something from nothing because you have always built things from nothing, and because the alternative, doing nothing, is the one condition you cannot tolerate. In 1931, at age 33, you race for the last time as a driver. Your wife, Laura, is pregnant. Your son will be born in January 1932. You have made a decision, not reluctantly but clearly, that the work of building is more important than the work of driving. The machines matter more than your place in them. You name your son Alfredo. Everyone calls him Dino. Segment 4. The Departure. By 1937, Alfa Romeo has decided to take back its racing operations. The Scuderia is dissolved. You move to Milan to run Alfa Corse, their new racing division. Within 2 years, you are in conflict with the management. The disagreement is fundamental. They want to control the racing program from the business side. You believe, with the certainty of a man who has spent his life in garages rather than boardrooms, that the people who understand racing must be left to run racing. This principle will define everything you build. In September 1939, you leave Alfa Romeo. The contract stipulates that you cannot use the Ferrari name in connection with racing or automobiles for 4 years. You start a new company, auto avio costruzioni, and make machine tools and grinding equipment. War production. The factory moves to Maranello to avoid Allied bombing. The Allies bomb Maranello, twice anyway. Through all of it, you design. The machines for the factory are not what you are thinking about. You are thinking about the car. The specific car. The car that will bear your name, that will race under your banner, that will prove what you have always believed, that you understand what a racing car should be better than anyone at Alfa Romeo, better than anyone at Fiat, better than anyone who rejected you or looked through you or told you that the name Ferrari on the side of a car meant nothing. In March 1947, you take the first Ferrari, the 125S, a V12, 12 cylinders, because 12 is what a Ferrari is, out for a test drive in Maranello. You are 49 years old. You have been waiting for this for your entire life. Segment 5. The Prancing Horse. The Cavallino Rampante, the Prancing Horse, comes from Francesco Baracca, a World War I flying ace whose mother suggested you use the emblem her son had painted on his aircraft. For luck, she said, you put it on the cars. Ferrari wins its first Grand Prix in Rome, May 1947, then another, then more. By the early 1950s, you are in Formula One, the only team that has competed in the championship since its very first year in 1950 and has never left. Between 1960 and 1965, your cars win every Le Mans, 6 in a row. Between 1958 and 1964, 6 of the 7 Sebring races. But the victories come with a price that no trophy accounts for. Drivers die. Not occasionally, regularly, in a way that the racing world of that era treated as the natural cost of the sport. Alberto Ascari, Eugenio Castellotti, Luigi Musso, Peter Collins, Wolfgang von Trips, men who drove for you, who believed in the cars you built, who are dead because the machines were fast enough to kill them. The Italian press calls you Saturn devouring his children. You wear this. You do not accept it as your fault exactly, but you do not dismiss it either. You are building machines at the limit of what is possible. The limit of what is possible sometimes passes through the place where men die. You say, racing is a great mania to which one must sacrifice everything, without reticence, without hesitation. You believe this. The men who drive for you believe it too, or they would not drive for you. Segment 6, Dino, June 30th, 1956. Your son dies. Dino is 24 years old. He has been ill for years, muscular dystrophy, the same disease that will later take your wife Laura. You have watched him decline while he continued to work, continued to care about the cars, continued to design. He designed the 750 Monza. He worked with engineer Vittorio Giano on a prototype 1.5-liter engine in his final months. The engine is completed a few months after Dino's death. You name it for him. The V6 Dino engine powers Formula 2 cars and later road cars that carry only his name. No Ferrari emblem, just Dino on the body, because you believe the Ferrari name belongs to a 12-cylinder and Dino deserves his own. You leave his office untouched. You mount his portrait in your workspace. You begin wearing dark glasses every day. As a ritual, as a memorial that has no end date, you will wear them for the remaining 32 years of your life. You move into a small apartment at the factory. You work every day without vacation. You have, after Dino's death, almost no personal life in the ordinary sense. No relaxation, no leisure, no distance from the work. The work is the only place where the grief cannot reach you while you are in it. Your marriage to Laura survives Dino's death technically, but does not survive it in any real sense. What remains between you and Laura is mutual investment in the company. You have a son by your long-term companion, Lina Lardi, Piero, born in 1945, but you cannot acknowledge him publicly while Laura is alive. Divorce is illegal in Italy. You live with the architecture of a life that cannot be arranged honestly. Segment 7. Ford, Fiat, and the Price of Control. In 1963, Henry Ford II comes to you. He wants to buy Ferrari. He offers $18 million. The negotiations proceed seriously. Terms are discussed, papers are prepared. The deal is almost done. Then you read the clause about the racing division. Ford wants final approval over racing decisions. Specifically, Detroit would have the final say. You walk away from the table. You have spent your entire life refusing to let anyone else make the decisions that matter. You left Alfa Romeo for exactly this reason. The money is not the question. The question is control. The question is always control. A Ferrari that is approved by committees in Detroit is not a Ferrari. It is a badge on someone else's car. Ford builds the GT40 specifically to beat you at Le Mans. In 1966, they do it. You watch this without pleasure, but also without regret. You made the only decision you were capable of making. By 1969, the finances are serious enough that the pride of 1963 is no longer available. You sell 50% of Ferrari to Fiat. The terms are specific. You retain complete control of the racing operations for the rest of your life. Fiat provides capital and infrastructure. You provide the name and the decisions that matter. It is not a defeat, it is a negotiation, which is different. You remain who you are. Segment 8. Maranello. You rarely leave Modena and Maranello after 1950. You never fly, always the car or the train. You never take a lift, always the stairs, though you say it is more tiring. You do not attend Grand Prix outside Italy after the 1950s. Your world has a radius. Inside the radius, you are everything. Outside it, you are a name on a car. In the 1970s and early 1980s, Ferrari wins 6 Constructors' Championships. The cars are red. They are always red. The color is not marketing. It is the color assigned to Italian racing cars by international convention, the national racing color, and it has become so thoroughly identified with Ferrari that red itself has changed its meaning. In 1978, Laura dies of muscular dystrophy, the same disease that took Dino. You acknowledge Piero publicly shortly afterward. He has been working at the factory since the 1960s under a different surname. You have watched him work, demanded of him what you demanded of everyone, given him no privilege that could be seen. He knows what the work is. He will carry it forward. On August 14th, 1988, you die in Maranello. You are 90 years old. Kidney disease. A few months before your death, you approved the final car you will ever approve, the F40, built to celebrate 40 years of Ferrari. A V8, turbocharged, 478 horsepower, a car for which the word brutal is insufficient. Segment 9. What remains? The name is worth more now than the company ever was in your lifetime. In 1947, you built the first car in a factory that had been bombed twice, with no money, in a country that had just finished losing a war, with nothing but the knowledge of what you were doing and the refusal to do anything else. By the time you died, Ferrari had won 9 Constructors' Championships in Formula One and produced cars that people across the world have decided are the most beautiful things on 4 wheels that exist. You never flew in an aeroplane. You never set foot in a lift. After Dino died, you never took a vacation. You wore the same dark glasses every day for 32 years. You lived in a small apartment inside your factory. The thing that drove you was not money, not primarily, and not in the years when it mattered most. It was not fame, not ambition in the ordinary sense, not the desire for recognition. It was the cars. The specific physical, mechanical reality of a machine that could go faster than almost anything on Earth, built to do that one thing, built by people who understood exactly what they were building and why. You once said, "The fact is, I don't drive just to get from A to B. I enjoy feeling the car's reactions, becoming part of it." You stopped driving in 1931, but you never stopped feeling the car's reactions. The Prancing Horse is on every car. Dino's name is on the engine, the factory is still in Maranello, and somewhere in the snow of February 1898, a father is waiting 2 days to register the birth of his second son. The date on the certificate says the 20th, the truth is the 18th. Some things are simply true, regardless of what the record says.